35-23 your final score, CMU over the Jackets. Waynesburg falling to 0-3 on the season, 0-1 in PAC play. And Brandon, looking at this game, very competitive, tied at the half. Waynesburg took a 17-14 lead in the fourth quarter, unable to pull it out, but I'd say the biggest story coming out of this game has to be the loss of quarterback Jake Doherty, as we saw in the two-point conversion, going out with an injury. It's a tough road moving forward for the Jackets. I would say it's really unfortunate that the injury happened to Doherty in what was far and away one of his better games of this 2016 season. And when you look at his career over the last year plus, one of the better games of his career in terms of yards, not turning the football over, yards per attempt. And I really attribute that to the return of Tim Cooper, who's been out with injury, just one catch for 8 yards through the first 2 weeks. You've got a guy in Kevin Barnes who lit the PAC on fire receiving last season, had just 6 catches on 21 targets through the first 2 games. They both got going. Each of them picked up a touchdown. Barnes, 7 catches for 113 yards. And Brandon, I was at this football game. I tracked Barnes on every play, and he was just blanketed by coverage. Coach Lackner of CMU had a linebacker and a defensive back shadowing him just about wherever he went on the field, and he still found a way to get the 100-yard receiving day. Mitch Kendra, his magical season continues. Another 7 catches, 94 yards in the afternoon. And the passing game, really, that's what we expected coming into the season for the Jackets. The experienced members of this offense, they reside in the skill positions at quarterback and then out in the receiving core. You look at a young offensive line, young backfield. This is what we've been looking for out of the Jackets, but now maybe starting from scratch with Perron. Yeah, missed field goal right before the half for Guthrie against CMU. But I do want to turn the shift to the defense. And talking with Coach Shepis this week, he was very excited with the way his defense played. And you talk about CMU bringing the nation's leading rusher back in Sam Benger, the running back for CMU. Benger had under 100 yards rushing through the first 3 quarters of the game, which is outstanding. Benger didn't really get anything going in terms of big yardage until the fourth quarter when he ripped off a 64-yard run late in the game to really put it away for CMU. But there's a lot to be encouraged about. In that first half, Waynesburg only allowed 7 points. Why did they allow 7 points? The offense fumbled on the second play from scrimmage, and it was returned inside the Jacket 5-yard line. This defense in 2016, I have been so impressed with the front 7. Namely, you want to talk about the defensive line, Machuga, Grinnan, DeStefano, Roundtree, John Babos now moving to D-line. I've been very impressed, and this week it was really encouraging to see the Jackets get a couple of turnovers. Justin Wilco, we've talked so much about Waynesburg turning it over in the opponent's red zone, able to pick off a pass in the end zone to take some points off the board for CMU. That's huge. And then Michael Heasley, sophomore linebacker. He's doing a great job, a local guy from Waynesburg, able to get a sack, fumble, Waynesburg, get the ball, score, take a lead in the fourth quarter as a result. I'm very, very excited with what the defense brought on Saturday, and lots of energy. We just need the offense and special teams to match that. And as far as Mundell, he's been targeted a couple times in the red zone. CMU was able to score on 2 fade passes to the corner, and that's just one of the things that happened. And honestly, I think the Jackets got a bad break. They knocked out starting quarterback Brian Jangro for CMU, and Alex Klein came in, seized his opportunity, 7 for 11, 121, 2 touchdowns, along of 50 yards. Right when Waynesburg took the lead, the first play out that next drive for CMU was a 50-yard completion, and the Tartans were off to the races. But we'll talk more in terms of football when Donnie Chedrick comes on. We'll talk a lot about the challenge that Case Western brings. CMU and Case Western, of course, affiliate members of the PAC, football only. They came in just 2 years ago, and some of the better programs in the conference as well. Yeah, really, after losing to Bethany the previous Saturday, odds of getting a home game for Waynesburg, had to win at Geneva, had to win at Chatham. 2 teams that Waynesburg beat the first time around, and a loss on the road at Beaver Falls. This happened last year as well with a really good men's team. 81-67 the final. The Jackets went down. DJ Ritchie, the only player to score in double figures for the Jackets, 9 of 13 from the floor, 26 points in this game. But the big story, and this is a Geneva team that Waynesburg beat by 37 points at home the first time around. The Golden Tornadoes shot 61% from the floor. The first time Waynesburg has allowed any team to shoot 61% or above 60% in the season. And when the Jackets allow opposing teams to shoot over 50%, they're 1-5 in 6 games. So that's not a formula to get it done defensively. And Waynesburg really fell behind in this game. Fell behind 20-4 to start things off. Yeah, and I'd agree with you there, and I'd point towards bench points as well as another source of scoring for this Jacket team. You had Christian Caroli play 15 minutes and go down with an injury. He is done for the rest of the year, I'm hearing. And you look at the Geneva bench, outscoring Waynesburg 16-11. Go back to that first meeting, a 37-point Jacket win. Waynesburg outscored Geneva 39-7 off the bench, a big key there. But let's switch gears. Go to Pittsburgh, as we previously mentioned. Waynesburg beating Chatham 68-63, securing a number 5 seed. That means a matchup with Thomas More in the first round of the PAC tournament. But Michael, what did we see from this win?
J Invitational, what did we see in that one?
Well, it was a solid showing by Coach Headley and company at the W&J Invitational, finishing 8th overall out of 58 teams. No, there weren't that many teams, but over a dozen schools attended the W&J Invitational. Your top finisher, not a surprise here, Jake Evans at that heavyweight spot. He reached the title match before ultimately losing to a national qualifier last year from Heidelberg, but on his way to the title match, he picked up a pin and 2 more wins against Division II competition. Jake Evans, of course, a PAC champion from last season as a freshman in that heavyweight class, certainly someone you can plug into the lineup and count on at the end of the match like he did against West Liberty. Other good performers for the Jackets at the W&J Invitational, Filippo Crivelli, another PAC champion, finished 3rd at 141 pounds. He went 4-1 on the day, including a major decision in the 3rd place match, a 10-2 decision to take home that bronze medal. And then you've got junior Tristan Buxton and senior Ryan Shank at 125 and 184 respectively. Both wrestlers fell in the first initial match and then swept their way through the consolation brackets. Buxton lost 5-3 to the eventual champion and then ended up going 5-0 the rest of the day with a pair of pins. Ryan Shank lost 11-10 and then won the next 5 as well, including a pin and a major decision. Some other contributors, Kenneth Burrs, went 3-2 on the day, good for 6th at 197. Losing to the eventual champion from Teal, another freshman for the Tomcats. I have a feeling those two will meet up more than once for the rest of the season. And then Matt Claxton, 4-2, just missed out on the 5th place match, a pin and a major decision on the day. So nice showing at the W&J Invitational.